Le garant de la loi, Achille Camus, l'homme qui sait où il va. À l'hiver à Paris, à saison des pluies, à maman, j'aime les bonbons. Moi je préfère les bonbons. Peter Tiani, Papa Bonheur, le king qui m'étend. Yo 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 yo.
And the quantity of knowledge that will be given to them in school, regardless of their different political, social, cultural ideology. We are now counting close to 31 years plus as far as rigor and moralization policy were instituted in Cameroon. Morality seems to be moving down the drain. Ever since the reintroduction of multi-party politics in Cameroon, Cameroonians are still experiencing a decline in moralization. One would have thought that the introduction of multi-party politics and freedom of communication and freedom of speech in the nation will help to boost the nation and will help to fast-track morality. But however, morality is in a decline. Recently, we witnessed in snack bars across Douala as young girls under the age of 18 are having sex openly in a snack bar. Men are cheering, having sex without any method of precaution. However, morality is dwindling. In our schools these days, it is common to see students with knives and other weapons going around to destroy the lives of others. Morality is in decline. Sex in schools is very common, especially among our secondary schools. However, as Cameroon brace up to host the 2022 African Cup of Nations, dubbed 2020 African Cup of Nations, the issue of morality is once again on the spotlight. Vis-a-vis looking at the state of preparedness. How prepared is Cameroon amidst the scandal of morality in terms of how our guests will perceive Cameroon? Will they perceive Cameroon as a nation where sex is sold openly in snack bars, as a nation where sex is common in our schools, as a nation where school children have the latitude or the effrontery to go with weapons in school and to threaten the lives of the teachers? How will our guests ahead of 2021 African Cup of Nations perceive Cameroon? With traffic in Douala, Boya, lots of others, the Lomé Stadium yet to be completed, is Cameroon prepared for African Cup of Nations? This is House of Commons with Tah Mai Jarvis.
Jarvis, hello to the million viewers of my media prime, especially House of Commons. Greetings to my co-learned panelists. It's always a pleasure to be here to talk about things that we need to change and things that we need to ameliorate. A special greeting to my mother, Rosalind Lawyer, whom I think should be somewhere in Ginicom watching me right now. Thank you.
And also here in the studio we have Song Derrick, who is we have Emmanuel, who is a fervent participant of our program. Emmanuel, happy Sunday.
Thank you very much, Tah Mai Jarvis. It's always a pleasure to be here. And I want to seize this opportunity to say a happy Sunday to all the viewers of House of Commons and to all the people littered all over the world, especially to those watching us from the Bended Hills of Boyo Division. I hope it's going to be a good debate, especially with our senior Paddy Asanga in the studio.
Happy Sunday to you. Paddy Asanga, a privilege to have you.
Yes, Jarvis, thank you once again, and I'm happy that I am surrounded with younger people, who are younger than myself, and to me, it is an honor because we are basically in a country where the youths have been neglected and they haven't been given a place. So when I'm surrounded by people who are younger than myself, I feel comfortable, but at some other points too, you see, I get to other platforms that I'm, younger than any other person. So I want to thank my Media Prime for being the voice of the voiceless and the voice of the youth. Thank you for having me.
Paddy Hassan, I'll begin with you. I want us to look at the first topic, CAN 2021. How ready is Cameroon ahead of the January 9th opening? You, as someone who witnessed African Cup of Nations in Cameroon, as far as when you were still in Cameroon, you witnessed how Cameroon qualified to play in other nations, and also you are in Germany. You are currently based in Germany, where the Bundesliga and other sporting activities is at top speed. And you've come back home. When you look at, you've made a tour across Cameroon. When you look at how far we've gone from what you got about Cameroon in Germany, the reality you are now seeing in Cameroon, do you think that we are ready?
One thing is for sure, the AFCOM, the African Nations Cup, is an event that honors Cameroon, but that this system is trying to make a mess out of it. You see, that AFCOM is going to take place, but don't expect all the infrastructures that were programmed for it to be used. That one we should factor in. There is this famous language that came to the limelight that the thing slipped away, and some of the infrastructures are going to slide away, and then we'll have to relocate. You will see some other stadiums which are already ready, going to be used for the opening ceremony. But to say that AFCOM is not going to take place in Cameroon, I don't think that one is possible. We have, you also understand that Brazil had similar situation when they were hosting the World Cup, a tournament which is of a higher magnitude than what we have now. The truth is that this polemic is based on the fact that the opening, the match of the opening ceremony was supposed to be played in Olembe, and it's rather unfortunate that from every indication it's not going to be played in Olembe. But as far as I am concerned, I like sports, and I like that AFCOM should be played in Cameroon, and we should do everything that AFCOM takes place in Cameroon. And after that, then we can start judging ourselves and ask ourselves what went wrong and what did not go right. So I also want that it should take place in Cameroon, but after that, some heads should fall.
Are you very, very comfortable that, are you sure that heads will fall? If we look at the system, when COVID-19 came, money that was meant for COVID-19, we are still to get accountability. Bags of rice were donated in early 2020. As far as COVID-19 is concerned, these bags of rice, we went to a shutdown. Nobody has been able to give accountability as far as where those bags of rice went to. And also in the 1994 World Cup, I'm sure you were very active at the time, Operation Coup de Coeur.
Yes.
And heads did not roll. And a similar situation may repeat itself.
If I'm barely articulating my wish, and I'm not in the secrets of this Jacobinist government that has been mutilating Cameroonian for quite some time now. But what I think is that some heads should fall. And if you ask me the head of the first person to fall, it should be the head of the person who calls himself the President of the Republic, because he's responsible for everything that is happening to this country. So when I'm talking about a head should fall, if he cannot hold people to the accountable, then we should be holding him accountable, because he is the one who claims that he has the mandate. So whether we like it or not, AFCOM is going to take place in Cameroon. There is going to be a balance sheet after AFCOM. COVID-19 is still threatening. We cannot just say we want to handle the COVID-19 gate or the COVID-19 scandal right now when there is a new wave of COVID. These things are done basically when the storm is over, and then we can sit down and do an assessment and understand exactly who did what at one point. But at the time where there is insecurity, there is COVID, and there's this euphoria for us to host the African Nations Cup, don't expect any people to go and be digging behind who has done what, who has not done what. The focus now on any government, if I was in the government, I would make sure that this African Nation comes and passes. Then we have this third wave of COVID. When it's over, then we sit down now and we make an assessment. I think that's...
I'll remain briefly again with you before moving to other members of the panel, because you have I think, experience when it comes to the issue of COVID. You know, we have been told about the Omicron variant, which is countries have imposed lockdown or restricted flight from other southern countries. But Cameroon is to host an event in 3 weeks, and barely nobody is talking anything about the new variant.
What do you expect Cameroon to say? Every country has its own measures. Don't forget that the African Nations Cup will be hosted in Cameroon, and some new measures will be taken. I hear in certain countries they say their players must be vaccinated. And you see, we just had the last match that Jay Clinton, one of my very good friends, Fire Collins, played very well. He played in Cameroon with 25,000 spectators. So don't expect manners to fall from heaven. I keep telling you that the AFCON is going to hold. Go and watch, you people, what you are talking about, the Bundesliga. The Bundesliga is going on amidst these new waves of COVID. What is the capacity?
We're talking about people coming now into the country. What measures? We're expecting that the government will announce new measures, because in Germany there are restricting flights from other Southern African countries. UK have done the rest, and also other nations have done the rest.
That one is
so
going
we're
to
expecting
happen.
an update.
That one is going
okay,
to
with
happen.
AFCON coming now, 3 weeks.
That one is going to happen, Jarvis. I think any responsible government, I don't criticize for the sake, but I think that one is going to happen. And the restrictions, the conditions are not going to be stipulated only by the Cameroon government alone. CAF would have to sit, the Confederation of African Football will have to sit and stipulate some measures that must be respected by Cameroon government and the participating team or delegations that will want to come in. It doesn't lie within the competence of the Cameroon government alone. They might have their own extra measures to protect their own citizens, but I think AFCON will come in at some time, and then we'll put some mechanisms in place to see into it that the delegations that are coming into Cameroon are safe, and that the Cameroonian population also doesn't contaminate them if really there is COVID in Cameroon.
When you say head should rule, that the president head should rule, and you said he called himself, he says he called himself as he has the mandate. Since he called himself as the mandate, he claims he has the mandate. Are you by chance saying that the president was not elected?
I'm saying that Mr. Biya is a de facto president. Since 1992, there has never been any elections in this country.
Okay.
And since 1992, we surprised them, and they brought in this fraudulent mechanism that has brought them where they are today, and you see the wave of contestation going on.
Emmanuel, we are on the 9th of January. Cameroon will have the opening ceremony. If you look at the state of preparedness, from sports, infrastructure, policy, to the economy, to the health, to the social aspect, how ready are we on a scale of 100, if you were to grade?
The scale of 100, is that what you said?
Yes.
Before grading, I wanted to tell you that I'm a sport fan, but I'm not a wrong sport fan. I'm a correct sport fan. And as a correct sport fan, I cherish what is correct. If we were to go by reading, as you are saying, Cameroon is 32% ready. By excellence, which means that Cameroon is not ready. You see, it means that something went wrong. And the person who took upon him to say that it has lied was the president. It means that something was wrong somewhere. That is where I joined my senior brother, Padi Asanga, to say that the only person responsible for the failures of Cameroon is Mr. Biya. And let me start step by step. I'll start by infrastructure. Tah Mai Jarvis, you are in the town of Douala. Do you know that on the bike in Dokoti, it is very possible that you stay on the same spot on the bike for 52 minutes? Then you ask yourself, if that bike was taking you to Japuma to see a match, and you already spent 52 minutes on the spot, at what time will you get to the stadium? Which part of the match will you see? That's one. Two, when you come to Omnisport Stadium, you discover that it was disqualified. And before the disqualification of that stadium, work was basically done there with crude tools, wheelbarrows, and spades. We saw it. We have the images. It was disqualified. And the route, the main route leading to the stadium at the Omnisport here in Douala is a death trap. There are potholes right into the gate of the stadium. Maybe that is what the patriots, I put them in quote, will call it 100 or 99% readiness. Now look at a situation where, I am just wondering at a situation where a player falls down in the field and has to be ferried to the hospital. Let's take the example of the Hôpital General Douala. Knowing fully whether you have to pass through Pekawit, which the route is a death trap. You cannot fly there at a top speed. And to make matters worse, from after every 2 minutes drive, you enter a pothole. I'm sure that is readiness. If you go to Boya, I am just thinking of a situation where players need to go for training. And you know that Boya has just one route.
One main route.
One main route. And except otherwise, you know Cameroon likes military solution. Except otherwise, they will deploy military everywhere to block all the indigenes of Boya not to leave their houses and go about their daily activities. So that the teams that are playing in Boya will have access to go to the field. That will tell you that there's already a problem there. Then when we talk about hospitals, the first question that I asked, do we have the staffing? If at all we have the staffing, do we have the equipment? If we have the equipment, is it sufficient? Because we are hosting a CAN that has 24 teams.
With Cameroon inclusive.
With Cameroon inclusive. It is not the CAN that was, in those days, 16 teams. Which means that when you are faced with a complex situation, you have to take complex measures. But Cameroon has failed, the government has failed to take the complex measures that were needed.
But when you say the government has failed, the government says that they have constructed routes like the one in Boya. They have expanded some quarters like Malingo, moving down to the Mayor Street, and also the government says they have built off security. Hospitals have been renovated, and these are measures the government says they are ready. Even the Minister of Sports and Physical Education, Nasimwe Kombi, was at the Lombe Stadium last week, and he said everything is moving on well and it will be handed to Cameroon. Unfortunately, he came out with a communique postponing the handing over ceremony. But
Tah Mai Jarvis, you see all these long questions that you are turning around and asking. I don't really see. I don't think that the question is in its place, because we have a video of Le Cameroun sera prêt le jeudi.
Who said that? Who said? I don't know now. Clarify. We are talking.
The president made it himself, and his minister said orders from the president are supposed to be like the word of God. Bidum Pat.
The former minister.
The former minister. And the day came, the Cameroon was not praying. The president took the courage to inform national and international community that no, honor eu le glissement. It has lied. And before I give you the microphone, I wanted to say this. In a football match, each team has a coach. When the coach draws the lineup, it is a duty of the coach to be by the field, to be positioning and repositioning his players. But when you draw a lineup and you disappear into the thin air, like what I'm seeing in Cameroon, what obtains, obtains. The president is the coach. He drew the lineup with his ministers and he ought to have been by the side, repositioning his players, how to defend and how to score.
Okay.
But he went into hiding. So I think in this case, our coach is nowhere to be found. Because the Olembe that they are talking, you were asking Paddy a while ago whether the opening match ceremony shall take place in Olembe. I say it and I take responsibility. I am very sure that it will not happen in Olembe. But what we are sure is they tried and they have succeeded to pass through the eye of the needle so that the can remain in Cameroon. For that, we are sure. But to say that Olembe shall officiate the opening match, I am not sure. So what has been stopping the president as the coach to go down, like they say, the words of their president are like the words of God. The president was supposed to have gone down to Olembe himself.
Would that change the reality?
It would have changed something. It would have changed something.
Song Derrick. Yesterday, people spent 3 hours 30 minutes from Rai to Carrefour Music in Douala. 3 hours 30 minutes. And this is coming at the moment where the African Cup of Nations is yet to start. And teams are yet to come. And we are talking about 23 nations, with Cameroon inclusive 24. And these nations comes with their supporters. It's Africa. It's not Europe. And people easily come to Cameroon. And in this situation, how do we manage this? If it can happen at the moment where CAN has not started. If CAN starts, are we sure we can contain it?
Thank you very much, Jarvis. When Ndiwum was talking a while ago, he made mention of a bike standing somewhere for 52 minutes. And one thing we believe in Cameroon is that bikers are those people who never lack a road to go through. So if a bike can stand somewhere for 52 minutes, then we should question how long a car will stand. Talking about that is the absence of infrastructures we are talking about. If you check something about the CAN in Cameroon, you realize that a lot of us do a lot of evaluation, that the evaluation we do are short-circuited. Because most of us keep looking at the football fields if they are ready. Some people forget about the roads. And not knowing that if these roads have to be paralyzed for a day, it plays too on the economic situation of the country so big. So, Jarvis, I would tell you without mincing word that when you go to a place like Boya, you realize that there is just one main road. And the main road is not really a road, it's just a footpath. You bear witness with me. All of us have been to Boya. You realize the road is just 3 cars cannot be in a line in that road. They can't.
Oh, you say footpath anyway. Finish.
Yes,
I'll ask Paddy because Paddy was in Boya.
Yes, because please, when we talk of main roads, people should, and highways. Cameroon does not have one highway. I am responsible for my words. Cameroon does not have one highway. You can quote me anywhere. So, when you take, for instance, in Boya, there's going to be training in a Boya town
and
Moliko Stadium. How do people get there on time? Will everybody be stopped because AFCON is going on? Then the next thing I want to say is, we are talking about AFCON taking place, and we are not talking about the accessibility to the stadia. And we know that this AFCON is going to be taking place in a country that is punched with several crises here and there. We are swallowed in crisis. And we know that because the government is stern and determined to prove the one and indivisibility nature of Cameroon, this AFCON is going to take place in Boya and Limbe, being training grounds and Limbe being one of the main start to be played on. The question is, how much will the government spend on the security just to make sure that these matches take place? Because even as a citizen, I wouldn't support the Cameroon team to play in Limbe, because I may not be opportune to go into the start to watch the match. We are going to be hosting 23 strangers who are coming in a group. And the problem we have is not solved. That is one reason why I can tell you without mincing word that we are not ready. Jarvis, when you have a problem in the house and you realize you are having a visitor, most often it's good to set aside your differences in order to welcome those visitors. Cameroon should not look united. They should be united. What we are trying to do, because the imposition of the AFCON, especially in the southwest region of southern Cameroon, is because they want to prove a point. But mind you, that the unknown gunmen we have been hearing every day, unknown gunmen that we are still to know, or the separatists, they have been sending warning information. Do you think even Cameroonians are not comfortable to watch football matches in perhaps Limbe and Boya? How safe will foreigners be? Mind you that foreigners or the people coming into this country, they might not treat the lives of their citizens the way we treat as so cheap as 500 francs. Mind you that one citizen that is going to be lost, or if at all will be lost in this encounter, is going to downplay on the image of the country. So I think if we're talking about preparedness, we should look at how much money are we going to spend extra on security for something we should have done better, and how free are the people to move from one place to another in order to watch. Because mind you that football is a game of passion. People watch football. You know, the president of CAF, Patrice Motsepe, I watch him say that Cameroon is 99% ready. And then when he visited Cameroon, he saw a lot of passion. But this passion will be missing somewhere in one part of the country, because the people will not be watching football flying in the air, the airborne dwells of the footballers, but some people will be watching football while dodging bullets.
Paddy, he listened to song Derrick. He said Cameroon, they wrote in Boya as a footpath. You've been to the southwest region. You're just coming back from Boya this morning, and he talks about the issue of Limbe. When you look at the security situation based on your own feasibility studies, do you think there's that security threat that may hinder the organization of AFCON in Limbe and in Boya?
I understand from what premise my younger brother is speaking, and he is very, very critical. You know, Boya is said to be one of the most beautiful cities in Cameroon, and it's not an issue of yesterday that Boya is what Boya is. Boya and Limbe are cities which have always been there. So it's not because some people who call themselves Ambazonian are roaming the streets and some areas in that Boya will not be what Boya used to be. And Boya was constructed by the private man's money. That's why it's still standing. So I was there yesterday. I spent a night out there with some friends, and I don't see anything that's going to stop the African Nations Cup from taking place in Boya or Limbe or training us. It's not, there is, the rapport de force is not there, because I met people who just want to live their lives. You see people hanging out, living their life, actually enjoying life in Boya as we used to know Boya. So I don't know, the last time he went to Buea, but I can say from what I know yesterday, I was out there.
Maybe because maybe the separatists feel like they don't have an interest for now.
No,
and AFCON they will have an interest.
No, people will develop interest depending on what they want to project. Because I don't want to be politically correct here. I don't want to get into any intellectual debate. But what I know and what I've seen on the ground is that the African Nations Cup is going to take place in Limbe and Buea. The security situation is not as tense as it used to be. But I think some measures have been put in place. And the people, the populations, they don't want this thing again. You understand? It is the population that doesn't want it. They are tired. They want to go about living their lives. You cannot, they will not take people hostage, and some people sit in the diaspora and declare that AFCON will not take place. They should come and enforce the locking down for AFCON, or send their children to come and do it. You want to understand that most of the people who sit and blow this hot air and give the impression on TV stations, on Facebook, they don't go to the hinterlands to see what the common man thinks. I'm sorry. One of the most hated community of Cameroonians is the diaspora today. They used to be very loved. But because of this filthy and hot air that people sit in the diaspora and blow and say AFCON will not take place. Go and interview the.
Paddy,
yes.
I want us to have these few mathematics. Mm-hmm. Last month we had 3 explosions.
Yes.
In Southwest, in Buea, per se, the same Buea that you and I are there on a daily basis, which seems to be peaceful. And the first explosion, the driver was injured on a certain Monday. The second explosion, the driver was killed. And the third was in the University of Buea, where we were told by the Vice Chancellor that the improvised explosive device, only God knows how, came down from the sky and from the zinc, from the roof, and failed. And
no, but don't listen to
no, that's official statement.
No,
I want us to go official statement.
If you want to take everything that official, if you have to take everything that officials say, then we should not sit here and be debating. We just sit in our houses.
No, I'm just saying you are the analyst here. You can only analyze.
So I'm saying this. These are work of rascals. You cannot go into a university and plant bombs.
No, but the Vice Chancellor says it came from the roof. The roof.
Do you know that 32 gigabyte equals to 500?
I don't know.
So it's just like saying that my coat is black whereas it's brown. We all know why he said that and on what context he said that. But the truth is that the planting bombs into taxis, going to plant a bomb at the university, attacking civilian just to create terror, amounts to terrorism.
That's where I was driving at, because I wanted to ask you this question. Let me land. You continue, sir. I want to say that, okay, now, given the context of AFCON, will these guys not intensify their action? Whether you call it terrorism,
do you know that the population too has become very vigilant, and any rascal that is running around calling himself Ahmad, they used to walk on the street and you see them. So the population has become very vigilant. They don't want to see them. They don't want to see them. They're hiding in the bushes. People are living their life normally, and you say they want to intensify what? From where? They don't even have the means that they used to have before, collecting money. They are fighting themselves. Have you not heard them kill themselves there in Bui, setting themselves up?
But Paddy, you just agreed a while ago that we had 3 explosions in Bui.
Yeah, having 3 explosions.
Coming.
Listen, my Jarvis. Having 3 explosions will not stop the can.
No, we are not saying stopping the can. We are looking at the level of preparedness for security.
The thing is this: these things were planted by Sarko's group to terrify the people, to try to say that Buea has gone almost to normalcy, and they send some rascals to go and terrify the people. But the people have become more vigilant. When I was entering a taxi in Buea, the taxi driver came and looked at my bag and found out what was in my bag. So the people have become more vigilant. And when people go around just believing that those guys are supermarket, they also want to leave. They are not fighting to die for an illusion, for something that will not happen. They want to leave. So you will not go and be taking risks. They have already done it. There is no student in the university that want to hear that word amber. None. Because what they did, they actually wanted to kill students.
You are saying what they did, but from what the Vice Chancellor said that the bomb from University of Buea came down from the roof. And when we look at the roof itself,
was he there?
He is the official. He was on campus.
If you say that, if you want to take official statement for what they call agent content, then why bring us here to debate?
No, you are the analyst here.
Yeah, so I'm telling you that.
Are you by chance saying that the Vice Chancellor is lying?
Well, everybody lies in this government. Okay. Everybody lies. They tell lies. They tell lies. So you cannot tell me that because the Vice Chancellor has said something, I should say hallelujah. No. You have your own brains. You can analyze the situation and know that what he said is not true. So the question is, why did he say it? That's the question.
Okay, so you are saying that the insecurity threat in Buea cannot hinder.
It cannot stop anything.
An effective and smooth AFCON come January 9th, 2022.
It has even created awareness in the population. This planting of bombs in taxis, and you cannot just go somewhere now.
From the traffic situation now in Buea, you in Buea, can we contain the crowd if AFCON is to come? Can we contain it? Assuming that a supporter collapse in the field to transport that supporter with the traffic that we have, can we contain it?
You see, every situation is containable. And you cannot have that experience without actually having to practice what you are going in for. So I would not be able to tell you how many people will be there if it could be contained, because I'm not in the KUKAN, I'm not in the organizing committee. But my wish is that the AFCON should take place in Cameroon. We have spent a lot of money for that AFCON, and this minor insecurity threat that is coming, the population has become more vigilant. They don't want to see, they don't want to even hear. If you are moving around the place and say, just talk, we're sitting there with some students, a lot of students, and some veterans. So when you listen to those people, you get a sense of what is happening on the ground and the perception. But if you go to the social media, everybody who's blowing that hot air has their fake profiles, or sitting somewhere in the diaspora. Okay. That's it. So the situation on the ground is a different one. If you go today in Bui, today as we are talking, 2 boys who are fighting for the same thing are killing themselves.
Okay.
So let me not monopolize the platform.
This one, let's take on a few messages. Mr. Paddy, when last did you visit Ndop, Bali, Manfe? Mr. Paddy, you have asked, have you asked the amount of money schools in Ground Zero pay the separatists as taxes? This other one which says, bring good afternoon to you all, please. Can you tell Mr. Paddy to bring his family and let's live in the Southwest if it is okay? From there, you will see what you will see what you are talking about, because you are just talking, and it's coming from an anonymous sender. Please, when you send us a message, tell us where you are sending us the message from. I can't continue with you, Emmanuel. Do you agree with Paddy that Buea can actually host a successful AFCON? And you also cited the issue of Douala, the inaccessibility, where you said if a bike spent 52 minutes at the standstill, but we all know that bikes in Douala don't always delay. So if a bike can spend close to 50 minutes or 15 minutes, 2 minutes on the spot, it means we're in danger here.
Tah Mai Jarvis, I want to remind Mr. Paddy that he does not live in Cameroon. He just came in. There are some realities in Cameroon that Paddy should not talk about. I want to tell you the experience that we witnessed during the Chan. This is a lifetime experience. I am telling you that we were unable to reach the field. And finally, the match ended, whereas we had not passed Ndokpasi. This is a real, this is a, in Douala.
You are talking about Douala, right?
Listen, I'm coming. But when you talk about Buea, I wonder it should be clear that the CAN will take place. In Cameroon, nothing has ever failed to take place because preparations have not been made. That is why they say nothing is impossible is
Impossible
of the
pas
Cameroon
Camerounais.
nature. Coming back to security in Boya, I want to ask this little question. Do you think that if a match was supposed to take place in Boya at 4:00 p.m. and the 3 improvisative devices exploded, of which we are not wishing that it should happen, that match will still take place at 4 o'clock? No.
That's a baseless hypothesis. That's a baseless hypothesis. You can't say that. How can you say that you think you want to imagine a scenario? Are you the one preparing for that scenario? That's a baseless hypothesis which you cannot put on a platform like this. You're more serious than that, Mr. Njiwum. That if a thing, the situation is that we have 3 explosives, that it's the acts of terrorism in taxis, in a school, and the population has become very vigilant. How will you get without your thing 300 and so on and so forth?
I'm sure he's not defining whether it is terrorism or it's not terrorism.
No, but it's a baseless hypothesis that you cannot put on a serious platform like this.
Mr. Paddy, can I talk? You know, you have a culture that I don't agree with you. You need to culture yourself in such a way that you listen to others. When you were talking, I listened.
But you also know that I'm not also cultured to listen to trash.
It's okay, Mr. Paddy, let him learn.
Well,
it's okay.
You yourself, you could be trash.
I'm saying I don't listen to trash. I'm not saying you are trash. I said I don't listen to trash. No, you cannot come on a platform like this with a baseless hypothesis insinuating something. That's insinuation.
Mr. Paddy,
okay, assume that a match is in Boya, which is supposed to take place at 4:00, and 3 explosives are detonated in Boya.
Why? Who would detonate it? Where would they come from, first of all? No. I will leave this platform now if you people start insinuating this.
It's not insinuation.
No, it's a kind of insinuation. Let's be serious here, please. No. You cannot analyze something that has not happened. Let's analyze based on facts that we have.
Let's analyze based on what has been happening. Let's analyze now based on what has been happening.
Campuses. And the people of Boya, they don't want to hear anything Amber, period.
Yes.
That's the analyst.
Yes.
You don't have the monopoly.
No, you cannot say anything. I can leave this platform. I must not be here.
No, you can leave.
It's okay.
I must not be here.
It's okay.
You see, I am saying that...
that bombs were planted.
Let's go by what has happened.
What's this?
Yes, let's don't make hypotheses on what has not yet happened.
Yes.
And I'm tempted to ask, those ones that have been happening, who made the hypothesis for those ones before they happened?
Those are acts that have been posted.
And who told you that those acts will not repeat themselves?
Let me learn.
I am telling you that Tah Mai Jarvis.
Leave this one platform. I'll be very.
I am telling you that Tah Mai Jarvis. It is very possible. It is very possible.
We have other topics.
It is very possible that matches could be perturbed there due to such things. I am saying it and I'm repeating. Now, another angle from which I'm coming is, one of the provisions made by the CAF is that in a city where a match is supposed to take place across different cities, we are supposed to be ferried by aeroplanes. If I'm not mistaken, it is there. I am not the one. It's a provision. And I'm now asking, Cameroon has no one plane. Cameroon does not have one plane.
We have Kameko now. We have Kameko.
My God.
I'm sure I took Kameko.
When was the last time you entered Kameko?
Kameko from Douala to Yaoundé. That was in late 2020.
Ah, wow. Okay. I am tempted to ask that, shall these people fly like birds to be in Marwa? Because there's no Kameko. We have seen our ministers hire Ethiopian Airlines from Yaoundé to Marwa. That is the readiness you are talking about. And may I remind you that last year, a hotel in Garwa collapsed. A hotel collapsed. And that one is...
One of the hotels allocated for AFCON?
Yes.
What's the name of the hotel?
No, you are not the moderator. I don't think I'm obliged to answer to your question.
You come and you come, you say,
no,
what's the name of the hotel?
A hotel.
A hotel collapsed in Garoua, but it was not accredited for the CAN. Can you call the name of the hotel?
But did it collapse?
Yeah, just land.
And you see that we are struggling to do finishing touches. You know, Cameroon is always behind time. They are struggling now to do some kind of last minute touches at Olembe. Who knows what can happen with the infrastructure, because time and the material has not been accorded to actually judge the value of work done. But I want to give you back the microphone, but I want to tell Tah Mai Jarvis that when they are on television, at times we should be gentle. Even if we are not born to be gentle.
Moral lesson to give me.
Even if we are not born to be gentle,
please.
At times we can borrow gentility.
You have no
for
moral
some
lessons to say on
Tah Mai,
okay.
It's okay.
Go
to the next panel.
Derrick, if you were to, I want us to wrap up with this. If you were to advise the government as far as AFCON level of preparedness is concerned, what would be the proposals that you would give for the government to take in order to address the current impasse we are facing, like the traffic in Dopasi, the traffic in Dobo, that we are facing currently, so that we can have a smooth AFCON come January, because we are just few weeks to go?
Jarvis, is that a question or a temptation? I want to ask you, which time should I be giving the government these proposals?
Of course, you are a patriot, and the government listens to the citizens.
No, some of us have been termed unpatriotic because we are truthful. Jarvis, that question, I will not go by it for simple reasons that I don't need to lecture the government 3 weeks to AFCON. It won't change the story. Because 2014 till 2021 is 7 years. These stats would have been available and the infrastructure would have been available in 2019. Here we are, 2 years after the famous Griezmann de la Date in 2021. We are still on TV platform hitting and arguing. Before I get so much detail into that, I want to remind Mr. Padi that I didn't say the CAN cannot take place in Boya and Olimbe. I did not say that. What I actually postulated was how much will be the cost of maintaining security in Boya and Limbe for AFCON to take place. And it is so much money that will be used. I didn't say it cannot take place. You know, when COVID-19 came, COVID-19 gave us a leeway to be better prepared than we are today. Because COVID, what we are saying, AFCON 2021 is actually not to be AFCON 2021. It was to take place earlier. But we were given, yes, no, 2017 was in Gabon, It was to be 2019 in Cameroon. But we are talking about something that would have taken place 2 years before now. We are still talking about...
The competition was removed from Cameroon to
yes,
Gabon.
It was removed in Cameroon. Jarvis, the issue is we were to be ready 7 years. That is, we were to be ready at least 6 years ago or 5 years ago. Here we are, 3 weeks to time, talking about readiness. So my point is this. When COVID came, COVID gave Cameroon enough time to prepare. But instead, we abused the time. Because you realize that we have officials who always think that there is enough time for job to be done. Because where we stand now, when was the Olympics start to be handed over? When was the opening ceremony slated? It has been postponed, repostponed, and to be postponed again. What is the reason? And when the Minister of Sport wrote the communique, he said it has been postponed to an unannounced date. And that is the problem. We have a tendency in this country where we celebrate a lot of foundation stones, but we never realize the product. When it is time to lay a foundation stone, a lot of persons are there to celebrate laying of foundation stones, but we never see what stands on that foundation. We lay baseless foundations. Because when it was time to construct the Olembe Stadium or other stadiums around the country, you will see when foundation stones are laid, but you never see the final product. So, one problem we've realized, Jarvis, is that Cameroon, that is headed, because Cameroon is a one-man state. That one is not a debate. I'm not here to debate about it. Where the one man gives instruction to the ministries. Under the ministries, you have delegations. Under the delegations, you have committees. Under the committees, you have subcommittees. And these committees, when budget is disbursed, these people don't want to manage the budget. They want to chop the budget. They want to finish the budget. And that is the problem.
But we have seen the works of committee.
No,
let me give you an example.
Problem, Jarvis.
No, we have seen the works of committee.
Cite me one committee
we have seen we've seen the work of the committee of the AFCON in Boya, where headed by the governor of the Southwest region, Ben Bilai, where he has been doing a series of tours to the AFCON venues, the hotels, the stadiums, and ensuring
Jarvis,
that...
stop the litany. Let's not take too much time on the debate. Please, do you know that this Olembe statue we are talking about, Olembe is supposed to be a complex? Do you know that we are only talking about the stadium as we are talking here? We are talking about stadium. But Olembe is supposed to be a complex with hotels, with sports ground, other swimming pools, and we are still talking about...
But they say we are 98% ready now. If we are 98% ready, means that the complex should be ready.
Please, our government has always been ready. And the reason why they have always been ready is because they know they don't answer to anybody. Let me tell you, Cameroon is a trio of criminals. Cameroon is ruled by people. You check. I want to tell you here that if euthanasia is punishable by Cameroon's penal code, then all the supporters of Biya should be sentenced to death, because they are mercilessly killing him.
No. Song Derrick. Before you land. Before you land. Song Derrick. In 1990, Cameroon president reintroduced multi-party policy and freedom of expression, and which means that you have a right to choose to belong to a political party. And why should we penalize people for belonging to a political party and having their political ideology?
Jarvis,
are we not worse than the people whom we are claiming to be criticizing?
Jarvis, did you get what I said? I said if euthanasia. In fact, let me use the meaning. Let me give you the meaning.
Not killing somebody because of his ideology.
Well, listen to me. Let me explain myself. Euthanasia means killing somebody slowly. I want to tell you that the supporters of Paul Biya are killing him slowly. They are showing him fake love. Yes, that's euthanasia.
No, but you not like that.
So
they should be
that's why I say if it is a criminal offense in Cameroon, if at all it's a criminal offense, then they should be locked up for mercilessly killing their president. Okay.
Padi Asanga, what advice will you give the government if you were to give the government? Because Song Derrick, which you confirm, talked about the Olympic Stadium is supposed to be complex, and Professor Nassim Welekombi, telling us that it is 90%, 98% ready. Meaning that the 2% should just be the root. If we go by what we see, you see it means that the complex, as you speak, now the complex is ready.
Yes, I always tell you people that don't take official statement for agent content. You are a very brilliant journalist and you should do your own analysis.
We have been told that we should not snap pictures there because
we should not take those pictures because they don't want you to see the non-readiness of the stadiums. That's it. There's nothing else behind it. Good. When you look at it from that premise and you ask me to advise them, I would tell them to do everything that we have our can that we have paid for, and then later on, let them call some of us to come and talk about the balance sheet of the can, because we must have the can. We have paid for. We can't budget and invest so much for it not to hold. That would not be my advice. I would ask them to go ahead, but let them understand that after that event, and with the new wave of COVID giving way, we have to sit down in this country and hold them to account. if not Mr. Bia, but his people who are involved in that thing. There's not only the CAN gate, but there's also the COVID gate. So I think we should we should support our lions, not supporting Mr. Government. We like, all of us Cameroonians, we like football. We should make sure that we have a very good and successful CAN, and after that CAN, then we can tear ourselves apart. That's what I want to say.
Good afternoon, Jarvis. My question addressed to Paddy Asanga, the gendarme that shot baby Caroline and Moja dancers. Are they Sarko's group? This is coming from Peter in Tiku. This reads, he say, good afternoon, please tell Mr. Paddy to present evidence and stop talking from vain imagination that that the VC is lying. I am Prince from Boya. You want to answer that?
Yes.
Because the VC said the explosive was thrown on the roof.
That's what the VC said. Was he there when it came?
It means that it must have, helicopter must have dropped
it or something. Did you ever see a hole on the roof? Or the thing just flown in like that? What are you people saying? You see, these are some of the things that when those of us who do analysis, we come and we say people think that. And to answer the person who said that Sarko was nothing, we all condemn the fact that the gendarmes killed
He's
young
asking
kids.
if it was from Sarko's group that did that, or
no, the gendarme who killed the baby lost his life, and the other person has been called to book. There are some gendarmes who are in prison. We don't support killing by anybody, but they should also understand that nobody has the mandate to pick up arms. That one should be clear. They don't have the mandate, and they are not picking that arms in our name. They are doing it for Sarko, not for me. So they are not talking for me. If you want to go and tell Sarko, he can go and die for Sarko, but you are not dying for me. So when you want to say those things, and I see some panelists nodding their head, you people should be very careful. You can go and die for Sarko. Sarko is there. Sarko is there. Go and die for him.
Thank you, buddy. It is sad situation to hear a fellow Cameroonian who does not know anything about Boya's cities tell Boya is. Mr. Host, please, have you known the that Qatar World Cup? Thank you very much, Yonga, from support. This one reads, says, poor road, crisis, insecurity, and untruthfulness are contributors to failure, and Cameroon is faced with all. So it's coming from from Bamenda. Thank you for your efforts to educate Cameroonians. Please, I want to say that the presence of Paddy in this program is good. However, he should also give others the ability to talk.
To talk trash.
Okay, this other one read, this is good afternoon. I say emphatically is that Cameroon is not ready for Chan. Cameroon is not ready for Chan. It's coming from an anonymous sender. This other one read, for those of you, please, in case you want to be a participant of our program, in case you want to participate or be a guest, we are open. The numbers, the number is on your screen, 676431384. You can call me or contact me during the week. I will send you the topic ahead of time so that you can be a member. Remember, there's no criteria for you to be a panelist. It's open. We must educate Cameroonians, but as long as you take responsibility for your statement. Let me take on the brief message before coming to you in the room. Good afternoon, Jarvis. Thanks for your topic. But what the man in white shirt and red tie is one of those who don't want the Northwest and the Southwest crisis to end. Why is he living in Douala without any fear? Thanks, Mr. Mba from Bamenda. I'm sure they're talking about you, Mr. in the room. This other one reads, says, good afternoon. I just follow you up in an argument. Why on earth would somebody analyze one argument as trash? I think every opinion counts. That's Caroline. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, Tah Jarvis. People like, thank you, your message is gotten. Good afternoon, Jarvis. This is a beautiful program. However, fighting against Paddy should be gentleman for once. He should listen to others. His fight against the Ambazonians should not make him blind to the truth on the ground. Guerrilla warfare is very unpredictable. He can live if... Emmanuel, if you were to advise...
I want to react to the
viewer who said it's like you don't want peace in Northwest and Southwest region.
Yeah, you know, data is cheap. 100 francs can make you sell your ignorance and your stupidity to the whole world. I'm telling it to the Batman. I didn't ask you to go and remain in Bamenda, and I'm in Douala, but I'm in Bamenda all the time. If you are waiting for me, I'll be in Bamenda next weekend. So, like you are saying,
My question now.
Yes.
What will you advise the Cameroon government as far as the 9th of January deadline is concerned, is looming, so we can move to the second topic?
Well, there is no advice to give to somebody who does not have ears. Advice is meant for people who have ears, who have the ability to listen. If the Cameroon government were to be acting on advices, Cameroon government would have been paradise. Cameroon itself would have been paradise on earth. Because since this crisis started, when people just sit and activate their data for 100 pounds, they talk rubbish messages. When this crisis started, since the crisis started, the whole world has advised Cameroon on what to be done. It is not 3 weeks to the can that we will come and be advising the government. If they have taken adequate measures and we are where we are today, let's only pray that it goes hitch-free. And let's only pray that Cameroonians also comport themselves between now and the time that the AFCON shall end. Because as we are talking, they say the third phase of the coronavirus is coming up. I listened to one CBDM member the other day shouting that all the fields shall be jammed to capacity. And I was tempted to ask, shall corona disappear when the matches shall start? But we know that is how we have been living for 39 years.
Maybe because they are presumed that a lot of people must have been vaccinated at the time. You know, when you are vaccinated, maybe you can go to the stadium. When people are vaccinated in Germany, you are allowed to go to have access to the stadium.
You have your app and you present it and you go.
Unfortunately, I will shock you that almost all Cameroonians want to be vaccinated, but they don't know where to be vaccinated. And even where you are told that you can be vaccinated, you are asked for money. I want to tell you an experience. I have somebody who wanted to travel out of the country, and she was meant to understand that COVID testing was free. But I don't want to disclose the sum that she paid. She paid for it.
You are doing denunciation. Denounce it.
Yes,
let's know how much the person collected so that that person who paid should be brought to book.
It varies. Mm-hmm. Each center has its own amount that they demand. If you don't succumb, the flight that you booked will leave you in Cameroon. And nobody will accept to leave his flight because of 50,000 that he could pay and go out. So these are things that we need to, first of all, take responsibility for our lives first.
I did my COVID-19 test when I was to travel for holidays in Kenya at CBC for free. When you are descending my 14. I did it for free. Maybe it depends on the center. But I went to the regional delegation in the regional hospital in Boya. They said they were not doing it at the moment. I went to other
Why were they not doing it
hospitals? They said they were not doing it at the moment. So I was forced to come to private center, CBC, where I did it, and I wanted to give money. The guy said, no, it's for free. That is free.
Why were you giving money?
Because I knew that
you are a journalist. Listen,
no, I knew that it's a private hospital.
Look, you are a journalist. And information to the people are sent by the journalists that COVID test is free. Why were you
for
giving
government
money?
Hospitals?
Bon. No, not for government hospital. That's not.
Well, maybe I understand from what premise he is coming, because normally the services of government hospitals are free of charge. And when you go to a private hospital, it is bed normal because it's a private owned business.
Yes.
So giving the money is it's just that, like, you render me a service and I want to pay for your service and you tell me that it's free.
To finish the question that you asked me, I can only advise Cameroon, because I, for one, I'm not interested in the can. Let me be serious with you. There are serious things in Cameroon that needs my interest, not the can. So
what are those things?
I have my life to live here. So you see, I will not go giving advice to the government. I'll give advice to those who are preparing for the can, to prepare with caution, because anything can happen.
Thank you very much. This one reads, he says, I don't know, have you landed?
I've landed.
Good day. Poor roads from the hotels to the stadium, especially in Limbe, Seme Beach Hotel to the Limbe Omisport Stadium. The government keeps stopping small business people from establishing their small businesses to earn a living. Hi Jarvis, I love the program. Please keep on reading, keep on writing to expose the ancient government who has failed from the beginning and almost the end, are still failing and cannot accept their fault. It's coming from back in Boya. This one, Caroline reads to say, no, we don't pay any money. I have taken my own vaccine for free. I am in Boya. Even the COVID-19 test is free. Caroline, maybe you tell us where that is so that we can also inform the audience that you can go to this center. It's free. Remember, information is power. So you can write to us so that I can tell the audience where you did your COVID-19 test for free and where your vaccination, where you did your vaccination for free, such that the public can have the information and make good use of it. I am John from Kumba. Please let Mr. Pade Asanga also allow others to express their mind. This is coming from someone in Kumba.
Then tell that man that they should tell Amber that they should.
You are talking to him. You are talking to him now. So
no, I'm not talking to him.
No, I'm saying that talk to the man.
Yes. So
you are talking to the man.
If you want people, you want me to let people express their opinion, go and tell your Ambazonian friends, your 56th president, that they should allow people to go about their activities, because all of us are not. We never gave them the mandate, without which I'll continue doing what I'm doing.
Happy Sunday to you guys in the studio. Please, I went to Bota Hospital in Limbe to take the COVID-19 vaccine, and I was told to pay 2,000 francs for cotton, that the government does not give cotton. This is someone giving life testimony.
But what have I got to do with that?
Yeah, patriot now. When you see this in your country, don't you lament?
I cry for my country. I cry for my country. That's why I'm a critic. I'm not only a critic of the government, I'm also a critic of scammers and scavengers who are hiding in the diaspora. I cannot, it's not because I will criticize the government that I will accept anything. It doesn't work like that.
Good day, Mr. Tah Jarvis. I never love to miss your program on one Sunday. The person blaming others by talking trash instead of the one talking trash. Let Mr. Pade Asanga borrow from the others. It's coming from NS in Ground Zero. Good day, please tell.
What is Ground Zero? What is Ground Zero? That Amber language. Amber language. What is Ground Zero? You see? What is Ground Zero? See, coming from Ground Zero.
I understand your son Derrick. And Zoom, I gave him time. He said he has landed. Yeah. So let me come to you. Son Derrick. Before moving to the next topic, I want us to trash this issue of AFCON. President Biya said Cameroon is ready. And you talked about the aspect that the Olympic Stadium is supposed to be complex. But the minister said 98% work has been done so far. Thus, the 2%, if we go by mathematics, my mathematics may fail me, means that the 2% should be just the road around linking to the Olympic Stadium and some finishing touches at the Olympic complex. But as you speak now, do we have a stadium ready or a complex, or we just have one?
Thank you very much for the question. I'll first of all differ with you that the 2% should not be around the roads. The 2% should be a minimal job that can allow the AFCON go, no matter what. 2% is very minimal. There is no perfect job that is done. A job must have its own error. That we will agree with you. Jarvis, you will understand with me that Cameroon is a united republic of, how will I put it? A republic of false hope. We have a gang of leaders, better called comedians, who think that playing with our minds makes them happy. And I've always said that people should not define patriotism as lies telling or as singing praises to the regime in place. When something is wrong, let's say it's wrong. When it's good, it's good. We are in the 21st century. Do you know that since South Africa hosted the World Cup in 2010, it should have given us a leeway that any start we are constructing in Africa should be prepared for an imminent World Cup, because we are not growing behind, we are growing ahead. Do you know that Cameroon has so much longed for this hosting of AFCON? I think it should be like 5 decades ago or more that we hosted the AFCON.
In the days of former President Amadou Ahidjo.
Yes, that should be 72. Yes, that AFCON was lastly hosted in. We should have been the one going to invite CAF to come and inspect that we are ready, not CAF giving us a date to come and check if we are ready. So the sportsmanship, you know, sports has been a whole lot. Cameroon is a household name when it comes to the sportsmanship world. The likes of the Roger Miller, the Oman Big, the Samuel Eto'o,
Ebuele,
all of them, the Alumbukas. Cameroon has been a household name. We cannot come to a place where we have produced household names, near world best, Ballon d'Or winners, trophies.
yes,
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 Ballon d'Or.
Ballon d'Or. That was in 2006.
Winners and runners up, and then back in the country of those sportsmen, it's like a pit of hell. I can go without mincing word that majority of our sportsmen that we celebrate did it by themselves, not by the help of this government.
Oh, but the government gave them the
Ngannou
security.
did it through the Mexico road.
But if Ngannou did not have security in order to live the life, probably if Cameroon was unstable, Ngannou would not have been alive. Because of the stability, in one way or the other, the government contributes in one way or the other.
When we are fighting, Jarvis, we are fighting to defend the flag of a country. You understand? The flag of your country is what we fight to. When we win the trophy, we like to, you know, the basic needs of man's life. There's that one that you need to belong somewhere. Each time you win a trophy, you want to identify that this trophy is going to this. So that spirit of Ngannou getting belonging, or Samuel Eto'o, he needed to belong. That people should identify his root.
Okay.
But where we are right now, we should be talking about the future, because if we are to host another AFCON in future, we will still be talking about this grammar of how ready are we, which is not a good one for us to talk about.
In case you want to be a panelist or a participant of our program, you can contact me on the numbers on your screen. We are open to everybody as long as you take responsibility of your statement. Good afternoon to you all on board. I believe what my brother is saying is the truth. I lost my flight because I did not pay the money for COVID-19 tests. The authorities to the center had to delay my result, only that I should pay, but I did not, and finally lost my flight. Some Cameroonians are wicked. This is coming from Rudy in Abu Dhabi. Rudy in Abu Dhabi. This other one read, it says go to the regional hospital in Boya. The team move from school to school. It's coming from Caroline. This message really say, hello Jarvis. I want to say that Mr. Ndoum is a bona fide Cameroonian who always stood by the truth. I think Paddy should not be brought. I want to take the vaccine. I went to take the vaccine in Bota Hospital in Limbe just Wednesday. I was told that I should pay money for the vaccine. Finally, I left without taking the vaccine. This is Mr. Takem from Bota in Limbe, that he went to Bota Hospital to take the vaccine, and he was told that he should pay money to take the vaccine. And the Cameroon government assured us that the vaccine is free, and I'm sure we'll talk briefly about that, because we are talking about preparedness of AFCON. If people want to go and be vaccinated so that they can participate in activities of AFCON, it means that they are asked to pay money. There is a problem somewhere. Hello, good afternoon to you all. The panelists, Gabriel from Douala, please tell Paddy to be optimistic in the way he sees things, and I love the program without people who are also struggling to destabilize. I am Prince Mwanjo Richardo from Limbe, talking about roads. Lots of potholes are found in Boya Limbe Highway. Also the roads of these cities too. Please tell Paddy to stop defending wrong about the government. Thank you. This other one really says, Mr. Okay. The message is gotten. Good afternoon to you in the studio. We are against hate speech, but I would like to plead to that Mr. Paddy should also not bring hate speech. Thank you very much. The message is gotten. Please don't call us, text us. If you want to be a member of our panel, text us. We are moving now to the next part of this program. Mr. Paddy, I'll begin with you. No, I'll begin with you in the room. I'm sure I started with Mr. Paddy on this. I want us to look at the issue, the second part of this topic, if our technical team can exhibit that, which is sex in snack bar. What must be done to instill moralization into our society, morality. I'm sure you must have watched the video of underage or 18 years having sex openly in snack bar, and the snack bar was recently closed by the divisional officer. That should be Douala 4. Douala 5.
There are videos, not video. When you say video, it looks like it is just one. You know, something is happening, and that thing that is happening has reduced all the things that when we were growing up, we used to see them as sacred. All of them have been put to the public space. I want to look at it from the point of the education, that our educational institutions. If you go to some secondary schools in Cameroon today, you will discover that girl children are going to school with trousers that tight fit and with short skirts that shows almost part of their private things that are supposed to be reserved only for the future owners. And you tend to ask yourself, what are the administrators of these schools doing to keep it down? Because that's immorality. If you go to universities in Cameroon, be it Bamenda, Boya, Douala, you discover that some of the students there actually sustain their lives from money through prostitution. We should have the courage to say it. And it is promoted by people we consider in our society as people we should look up to them for protection. I know of a man whom the public respected so well, but he was caught in Douala and beaten by quarter boys because he was coming and sleeping with university girls around them. It was a shock and it was disgraceful. So it's a whole topic on its own, but since you choose to bring it in the second part of your program where there is no time, what I can only say is that the three parties that brings up the child, first, which is the home, the parenting. I want to start pointing a finger to the parents. We need to review the parenting of our children. That's one. Two, we need to make sure that our school administrators go back to the lessons that were given to us in those days. You will discover that some of us, even putting on a jean is very difficult because we grew up in a culture where our dressing were so monitored and it became part of us. Then, those who have positions in our society also need to have moral authority, because children tend to copy from the elders. And if you are not exemplary, they can only copy the wrong examples from you. So in fact, it's a topic that is really wide, but because of time constraint, we only need to talk to these three groups of people and talk to.
President Biya, when he
you are President Biya,
he said rigor and moralization. Is it time for us to redefine the moralization? Because we are talking about AFCON that is coming. If we can have this promiscuity openly, without a certain level of decorum or control,
Since
how
like,
then can we protect the image of a nation?
Since you like to quote Mr. Bia so much, let me also remind
He's
you.
the commander-in-chief.
Let me remind you that the Rigo that he was talking about was immediately transformed to rigging in Cameroon. Moralization was transformed to demoralization of Cameroonians. So we don't need, I don't think we should take any lessons from what you have just said. We can take lessons, because if Rigo and moralization was to be practiced in Cameroon, I don't think a whole government would be in Konenge. I don't think money that is made, like my brother said a while ago, to save Cameroonians from COVID will be idling in private pockets. So we cannot preach moralization in Cameroon, quoting from Mr. Bia. I'm sorry to say that.
President Bia.
I'm sorry to say that. So you see, morality begins from home.
Okay.
So our parents, like I said, home parenting is the first pillar of morality. And once a child is leaving home and the parents cannot question the child's dressing, and where the child is going to, and for what purpose, it let loose the child. And from that moment, the child knows that I can do anything. Because those kind of videos, those obnoxious videos that you are talking about, it's something that tarnishes not just the image of the family, but even the image of the country at large.
With AFCON around the corner.
No, with AFCON it will be worse, because strangers will come in maybe with a power pocket, and with a power pocket it will multiply, because yeah.
Mr. Jarvis, the only thing I can say about this second topic is that the government should make jobs available for young Cameroonians to be employed. Because of this thing happen, because the means of living is hard, so they must do all to live. The government is responsible for all that is going wrong. Please, good afternoon, my media prime. It is I am okay. It's not clear titles. Good afternoon to you on the studio. I love the program, but I think Mr. Paddy is claiming to be right. He says. On what he says, please tell him that no one owns knowledge. Let us also express our opinions freely. It's coming from Nivengam from Douala. Happy Sunday to you in the studio. Happy Sunday to you too. Apadi, you are a father and you are a concerned citizen, and you are in a transition of a senior citizen. When you look at this level of immorality in Cameroon, going back to your days and now, what can we draw as conclusion? What is the
Jarvis, I will shock you people what I'm going to say right now. And there is a certain Akeba Ine,
no, you don't call him,
who is of blessed memory, and he wrote a book which is called Magico Anal Osenju Serai. It was written by Akeba Ine. Akeba Ine used to be one of those people of auto defense who were fighting us when we were at the university at the time. And when in that book, he stipulates the means of ascension to power, this kind of practice, what is done for people to get appointments, jobs, or whatsoever. And it has to do with this on-Catholic things that we are talking here right now. And if a child growing up stumbles and knows that at a certain point in life, I will have to do some on-Catholic things in order to get positions, what do you say? It doesn't end there. You know that there are a lot of processes going on, a lot of criminal charges going on as to people who were gang banging or whatsoever. Some of them are in prison by journalists and all those type of things. You have seen some on Catholic videos, women and women, men and men. These are effects of the new wave of liberalization with telenovelas and all that stuff that we have on TV. You on TV stations like yours are very good to educate our people, but you know there are other TV stations that run different content than you do, and those things are meant to distract us. The government would stop you from saying that Paddy, you have not allowed Paddy to say this, but it would allow channels that will run into the bedrooms of children and then they start singing on Catholic things. Then why not see them in bar doing what they are doing? So we should sanction some of these channels that we have in our bedrooms to make sure that our children don't get that content.
Thank you very much, Paddy. Please don't call us. When you call us, it distract the messages that we are to read. If you want to be a member of the panel, just text us. This person said, please read my message. I'll read it. Mr. Paddy, who has given you the mandate to talk on behalf of the people of Southern Cameroon, in as much as Sako, Ayuk Tabe, and Bala etc. has no mandate. Don't you speak? Don't speak. In as much as you have no mandate, don't speak. And please, if you love the people of Southern Cameroon like Abdul Karim, go and stay in the northwest and southwest. This is Bobga in Bali.
You want me to respond?
Briefly, so I go to get to song there.
Tell Abdul Karim that if he loves
no, it's not Abdul Karim.
No, because he's saying I should come and stay.
No, the person says like Abdul Karim. Yes.
Yes. Tell him that. Tell that person that Abdul Karim is not staying there because he likes to stay there. Abdul Karim is obliged to stay there. And I love this place. If not, I would have gone and collected Swiss cheese. I did not eat Swiss cheese. I was also invited there.
So you are saying that he has been compromised?
Was he not in Switzerland with Chris Anu and the others? What's the difference between, why are they not talking to themselves? Why are they fighting themselves? Was I there? So you cannot ask me about Abdul Karim.
Derrick, we have so many messages, but because of time constraint. Song Derrick. Sex in bars. You are a teacher. Jumumtu is a teacher. You people experience this thing, morality on a daily basis. Where are we, where is the problem coming from? From your days in the late 2000s or the early 2000s, it's not as the days that we have now.
Yes, it is not as the days we have now, and it may get worse if care is not taken. You know, the whole human being system, it's like a dot inside a triangle. And that triangle is made up of the home, the society, and the school. And the product of what we have is a combination of this mixture of what the home is producing, what schools are producing, and what the society at large is producing. Jarvis, it is no news in the Republic that you will hear that somebody needs to write a concours in this country and will ask for 4 papers without religion. And religion is part of that stuff that teaches us that moralization. You know, the Bible says, train up a child in the way he should grow, and when he grows old, he will not depart from. There are some cultures that if you don't inculcate them now, you will not be able to inculcate them later. You know, if parents do not train their children on what TV channels to watch, what kind of movies to watch. You know, when these movie channels are showing movies, it is written there PG. Some people think the PG for granted. PG 16. That's parental guardian should be 16. That means if a child is below 16, there is a content that child is not supposed to see. But unfortunately, you see parents, they sit in the room and during emotional part, during romance and kissing parts, they look at their children and even wink them eyes. It's one of the problems. The kind of things they watch and the kind of things parents give access to. Majority of times, wise parents, what they do is they create a different line for their kids, and then they limit them to the kind of channels they have. Secondly, the cyberspace is not secure. Today, you see parents, because of luxury or what they call, you just buy a phone and then you buy a SIM card for a child, and then you connect the child. And then you connect the child on YouTube, and you don't limit the child on what to see and what not to see. They get on typing everything, and you know with YouTube is the highest seller. The more you type and it pops up.
Okay.
So the cyberspace is not limited. And then you realize too that Cameroon has a syndrome of alcoholism. We consume alcohol,
okay,
and it's most often our consoling point. And when most people, when you consume alcohol, you do not need a geographer to tell you the world is round. You see the world going round by yourself, Jarvis. And so because of this, when people consume alcohol, let me give you back the mic. Let me just, when people consume alcohol and take drugs, you realize that there are things you never wanted to do, and then you do them under the influence of that alcohol. So I think the parents need to educate their children, take full responsibility. Then the school needs to take those children, because the teachers in school are parents, need to teach those children as if they were their own proper children. And then morality should be inculcated.
Okay.
While the society at large, including the church, has a vital role to play.
Those of you who have sent us your messages, there are so many messages we've received today. Because of time constraint, we may not be able to read them. I want to thank you all for your time. I want to say also that in case you want to be a panelist or a member of our program, you can contact me on the numbers on your screen, 676-431-384. Send me a private message and I will include you into the group, in the WhatsApp group of House of Commons. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for coming. Thank you, Derrick, for coming.
Thank you very much, Jarvis, for putting the trust in me. It's always a pleasure to be here and to share my views with Cameroonians.
Thank you very much for coming to.
Yes, thank you once more for the confidence, and it's always a pleasure.
Yeah, and my president, Povia. Thank you very much for coming.
Yes, I want to thank you all for hosting me, and we have had a great time. Maybe the next time I will be participating on your program will be from abroad.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy that we have shared this time together, and please stay strong and let's fight for let's fight for one Cameroon.
No matter the matter, what matter is your matter. No matter the matter, what matter is your matter. What should matter for you is that never you give up, for one day God will surprise you. My name is Tah Mai Jarvis from Cameroon's economic capital, Douala. Feng Gudong, Bange Bonamusadi. Bye-bye.